Hello, welcome to Monday Morning Matters live broadcast show brought to you by Magnicraft Consulting Team, anchored by Niyi Dunmade, a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the U.S. Here, each Monday of every week, we address important, relevant, and actionable topics of interest that will help you and your church grow healthier. And now, meet your host, Niyi Dunmade.
Welcome. My name is Niyi Dunmade. I'm the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. Niyi Dunmade is my name. I'm the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. I want to welcome you to this YouTube broadcast, Facebook live show. Thank you for hooking up with us. I'm welcoming every one of you to this live broadcast show. I will be talking on something that is so crucial. One of my mentors told me, he said, what you are sharing, I should keep at it. And what is it? It's on the screen. Uneasy church signs to detect. Uneasy church signs. And we've been talking about 9 of them. Okay, there are remaining 3 of them. So there are 12 uneasy signs to detect in a declining church. And if you have missed all the episodes, please go back to all the episodes. You're going to get some juice from all the 9 uneasy signs to detect in a declining church. I'm so glad that you are part of this live broadcast show. I'm Niyi Dunmade again. I'm the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. Magnicraft Consulting is a church consulting firm that helps local churches to grow healthier through empirical assessments, trainings, and strategic blueprints. So we help churches to grow healthier through revitalization efforts, empirical assessment, consulting, training, and strategic blueprints. And our vision is to be the leading church consultancy that creates sustainable and adaptable solutions. So we love to look at your context. We love to adapt to your context, the superculture gospel that we have in the scriptures in your own very context. So I'm a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting and also Church Answers University in the US. I'm also your host to your weekly Facebook Live broadcast show, 7 a.m. GMT time, GMT plus 1 or Nigerian time. I'm also known as the Church Health Guide of the 21st century. A big thank you to everyone who has been sharing our content, who has been commenting and reaching out to us, telling us how timely our content is and helpful our content is. Over the couple of weeks, I got some good subscribers in my YouTube channel. And so please feel free. I'm going to scroll the social media handles on the screen. Please make sure you go on the Facebook page to like our page. Go on the YouTube channel to subscribe to the channel. I'm so grateful if you do that for us in Magnicraft Consulting. We've been talking so much on different things that have been happening in a declining church and how to get those signs that are uneasy to detect. You know, it's very easy to get the total number of people who are attending your church, the amount of money that is given, but that does not say critically the health status of your church. Okay, so in Lifeway research deduction says that 70% of churches are in subtraction mode or declining or in plateau. Only about 30% of churches are actually growing or multiply or adding. Okay, and the thing is, for a large size church, it's much is less riskier for decline and death or distress to happen than for a smaller church. Now, one of the things going down to the juice of today, it's harder to detect the backdoor metrics. You know, one of the things that we want to also get clear up front, if you look at the signs that we've been talking about, it's very easy to detect lag measures, but also not easy to detect lead measures. Okay, lag measures is after the event. You want to take stock, you want to evaluate, but see, one thing is, before you engage into the activity, what are the things you need to put in? Okay, my wife wants to make a pot of soup of course, the outcome of the pot of soup is subject to all the ingredients. So can we have the lead measures, the indicators of the ingredient to be put into the pot of soup that would determine how the pot of soup is going to come out. So it's harder to detect the back door rate or assimilation ratios than the front door rate. Okay, any pastor is leading a church and his desire of growth can just count the number of guests who are visiting the church per time, and you're able to know the visitors volume rates. That's the visitors volume, the number of people who are coming into your front door. Is harder to detect the back door rate. Okay, it takes a lot of effort to be able to know those who are not showing up regularly, those who are not showing up frequently, those who have decided not to show up anymore. And if you don't have a system, we can help you create that system to know the frequency of attendance, to know those who showed up, to know your backdoor rate, to know your assimilation ratios. I've got a fantastic book on church retention, pathway to growth. I want to also tell you that if you want to become a church consultant to help revitalize churches, there's a massive discount for you, and that's my book. I wanted to just show you the book. It's very, very rich, and it will help you. It will help your church. So it will also help you to make some good focus on the back door. Most pastors don't put much more attention on the back door than the front door. Everybody is so concerned about what comes to the front door. But you see, what happens eventually in your growth momentum is what happens in the front door, is what happens in the back door, it's what happens in the side door, it's also what happens in the revolving door. There are 4 doors in the church, and your church must be able to put their eyes on all these doors to make sure that retention is actually what you want it to be. So detecting real-time comparison, that's another harder or an easy sign to detect is to be able to see real-time comparison of the growth rate in the community and comparing that with the growth rate of the church. Okay, I've considered for some number of churches, and I can say that a larger number of them are actually not growing or at the pace at which the community is growing. Okay, you can see that the Jerusalem a church is faced with is growing, let's say, at 41%, and then the church is actually growing at, let's say, 2 or 3%, or the worst case scenario, the church is declining. Okay, so how do you have a real-time comparison? Because what happens in the community is dynamic. What happened in October will be totally different from what happened in November. What happened in November will be different from what happened in 2023. And so we need a system to be able to detect real-time comparison between the growth rate of what is going on in your church and the growth rate of what is going on in the community. And that's what we do for churches, to be able to let you understand your Jerusalem, your context. Because if you don't understand your context, your Jerusalem, you will not be able to adapt the supraculture to the culture of your setting. And so I will advise that churches should do annually, at least, a community analysis, okay, to be able to know what's going on, the rate of change in culture, the rate of change in demographics, the rate of change in psychographics, what has happened. Because if you are not on top of what is going on, you will not be proactive. You'll be reacting to the change that is occurring in the community. And don't be like that frog. You know what happens to the frog? I know I read that somewhere, where a frog is inside the pot on the fire, and the frog feels, it's water. It's just trying to acclimatize, and the temperature is increasing. The rate of change is actually very slow, and the frog is saying, it does not matter. I can work with it. I can make do with the heat. But you see, what happens is that there is just a rate of change of temperature that will cook up the frog from being alive. So you have to be on top of the rate of change in the community. What has changed? That change, can it affect what is going on in your church? That change, can it affect your outreach effort, your evangelism effort, your discipleship effort, okay? Detecting the real-time comparison of the growth rate of what's going on in the church and what's going on in the community. One of the things I'll say quickly is that what happens is that, especially for churches who have been running for a long time, what happens is that you have done quite a lot of evangelism effort, and in like 10-15 years, the average age of the church is actually way higher than the average age of the community. And see what happens is that, and let me put it this way, the average age of the community, let's say, is 24, and the average age of the church is, let's say, 65. There's no connect. There's no how. If you are speaking, there's no how they understand you. There can't be a dialogue. There can't be a connection. There can't be any form of healthy communication. So you need to be able to create that connection by making sure that the age range that is in your church is actually reflecting what is in the neighborhood or in the community. Tracking the types of growth in your church is very important in terms of what is going on in those age ranges in your church. Okay, which age range is actually growing? You know, one thing is to know what is growing in your church, but which age range in your church is actually growing? Is it millennials? Is it Gen X, Y, and Z? Is it the boomers? Is it the baby boomers? You know what age range? And if you don't keep track of all these age ranges to track the type of growth that your church is having, you will not know what to do to manage that growth. Because what brings about a growth sustainability is knowing that type of growth and being able to manage that kind of growth. How are people coming from the community to attend your church? How are people coming into your community? Who are they? And so that's one of the things. There is a survey from Lightway, and in Lightway, one of the questions they asked in that survey is, of the people who currently attend your church, what is their background? Okay, that's very difficult for you to be able to get the background of people who are coming to your church. Okay, now in that survey, and through surveys you can do that for your church. What is the background of the people who are coming to your church? And I can tell you that as a preacher, if you don't understand their background, you might not be applying the principles of God's word you are preaching to their context. And so the answer to the question, okay, 43% of them says previously part of other existing churches. So you had for more than 4 out of 10 who are entering the church, they are from other existing churches. And that's why, as a church consultant, I always want to downplay on transferred growth. And you see, when you have volumes of visitors coming into your church or through your front door, and you have, let's say, 40, and you have 43% of them who are coming from other churches, there's going to be a problem. Okay, previously part of other existing church, about 43% of them. 24% of them are on church for many years. Can we have 50-something% who are on church for many years come through your front door, so that we don't have more of transferred growth? You see, when you know the type of growth that is going on, you will know the kind of workload to tackle with. Then 18% are previously completed on church. Okay, they are just on church. So you have 24 plus 18. They are all in the on church category, and then you have 9% who are children born to church members who attend the church. So you can imagine if your church is having 9% of the growth from biological growth in 10 years, that's a massive impact in the growth momentum. And then 6% other church background. So one of the things is that once you know where the background of people are coming from, you can be able to help people more and provide adaptable solutions to them more. And so that's what I want to say. So, and then by Monday, next Monday, I'm going to talk more on how to calculate the backdoor rate and how to also calculate the assimilation ratio of the church. What is the assimilation rate of your church? What's the retention rate? And if you have not gotten my book on church retention, Pathway to Growth, please make sure you get that book. It's a fantastic book forwarded by Tom Rainer, and it's very, very good. I mean, I'm so thrilled at how pastors, apostles, bishops are buying them in numbers. So please feel free to reach out to me to see how you can get your copy. And I'm sure you're going to, getting some reviews, but keeping it quiet, it's massive. Please make sure you get that book so that you can be able to understand what to do to increase your retention rate. I've spoken to pastors. A lot of pastors want their church to grow. A lot of pastors want their church to grow in numbers. But the thing is, get your retention right. Once you are able to get your retention right, I can tell you that your church is going to grow. What are the last three things? And then next Monday, we're going to go deeper into some of these things. Okay. Chuck Lawless, one fantastic church consultant that I love so much, gave 15 ways to measure your church growth. And we just got to mention that. And then subsequently on next Monday, we're going to dive into the last three in more details. Okay. Measuring church growth is not as easy as just counting numbers or putting some spreadsheet together. There's a lot of analysis to do in that light. Okay, number of increase in conversion, that's a way to measure your church growth. Increase in number of transferred growth, in biological growth. Okay, in also the people who are attending and number of people who are inviting people. And then another thing is the number of decreases by death. That's, the backdoor rate should be affected by the number of deaths, those who are dying or those who are marrying away from your church. You need to be able to put that number to the table. Number of decreases by transfer to other churches. You can hear that 43% are coming into your church from other existing churches. Okay, and then there are quite a lot of membership or retention rate, volunteer retention rate, the increases or decreases in percentage of people reading the Bible regularly. You see, one of the things I did that on one of my broadcast show, how your church reading the Bible together in a year can help the church health of the church. So how do you increase the percentage of people who are reading the Bible regularly? And the thing is, technology has made a lot of things very, very easy for us. We can go on YouVersion or eSword or Logos as a group, and then you'll be able to see how people are actually reading the Bible on a periodic basis, to know who is catching up and who is not catching up. Increases and decreases in percentage of believers sharing the gospel. The more people you have in your church that are sharing the gospel, the more your church is going to grow. Okay, increases and decreases in percentage of believers investing in others. Okay, and also we also have those who are churches who are giving to mission contributions. Okay, and then that's one of the things that Chuck Lawless said on how to know that your church is actually growing and making an impact. So what are the last three? I'm going to just read that quickly, and I'm running out of time. But next Monday, we're going to deep dive into this last three on easy church signs to detect. One has to do with not detecting or addressing the ineffectiveness of the front door, side door, revolving door, back door of the church. Okay, you being able to look at all those four doors and in real time to look at the attendance change, to check those who are joining the church from convert funnel and from guest funnel. Okay, two areas at which a church can grow is from convert and from guest, and you must have well-proven process for those two kind of feeds into your church. Two, long-time discipleship mentoring of the growth rate of convert to maturity. Okay, one thing is for you to have convert, but what process it is that you can have to be able to know that these converts that have started this discipleship process, they are actually getting to maturity. Okay, tracking your discipleship pathway to know how efficient to ascertain the level of spirituality and maturity. You see, if you don't put your tabs on this sign, you will find out that your church is 30 years old, but your church is filled with babies. Okay, or your church is not having matured disciples. So and the church is old does not mean that the congregation are matured. Because spiritual things is not like physical things where as the baby is growing, his brain is maturing and maturing, gets married at some age. But you see, you can be 30 years in the Lord, but you are still a baby. You have given your life to Christ 30 years, but you can still be a baby in the Lord. So the church can be old, but the church can be filled with babies if you don't have what it takes to track, to monitor, to evaluate the growth rate of the converts and that you have in your church to maturity, and then making sure that what is the rate of the disciples that you have that are matured, that are also discipling. That is what brings the growth momentum to a peak that God will be happy with the church. So how much of the disciples are getting to maturity to become to become disciples? And see, one of the things I'll say quickly, you want church growth, but you see, once your church is growing, if your church does not have the needed disciples, the needed number of disciples in your church, and that's one thing is also difficult. How many people do you have that are actually discipling people? So if your church is 200, there's a minimum number of disciples your church should have to be able to make sure that all the members or the disciples or the believers in your church are actually being discipled by those disciples. And there's a way to go about it, and I mention one of the apps that I use a lot, that small cycle. Okay, disciples can use it, and disciples can use it to be able to know how to periodically take people from line to line, precept to precept, because that's what discipleship is all about. You grow in pace, you grow from line to line, you grow from precept to precept, and things like that. So, and the thing is that the main cross of the church is to ensure that the church is making and maturing disciples. And so you need to be at the front of what's going on in the discipleship process of your church, because your church should not be celebrating how much they are being able to amass in terms of income, but it's how many disciples have been discipled in a year. So if your annual report is going to be drafted, or you're going to do an annual Thanksgiving, you should be able to celebrate the number of converts that you have in your church and the number of disciples that you are be able to mature in your church. You should also be able to know what it will cost your church to be able to develop a convert to maturity. Okay, that's one area. That's the second. And the last one, which I'm going to wrap up quickly with that, but next Monday we're going to dive into some of these things in more details. Okay, failure to prioritize lead measures or indicators over lag measures. Okay, one of the things I would want to say quickly is that we are so conversant with lag measures. Lag measures are those measures that we take after an event has occurred. But the lead measures are the things you do to make sure that the event is actually running on course as planned. So, for example, we want Sunday service to have 80 guests. Okay, we need to share handbills to the unchurched. We need to make sure that we do evangelism. We need to get those handbills to people. We need to do some video montage. We need to tell our members to make sure that they invite people and come to church with people, and you track all those things. So those are lead measures. You see, the lead measures, complying with the lead measures will all guarantee the lag measures. Okay, what are the performance indicators of those lead measures? What are the key result areas to be able to focus on? Are those things being done? Are those things being done to make sure that when we get to measure the lag measures, we get actually what we're going to get? Because some declines are healthy if the trajectory is eventually going up over time. Okay, you can be doing the lead measures right, and the lag measures is not catching up, but you have to continue doing the lead measures, because one of the things I found out with church is that the lead measures are right. They are doing what is right because they're not getting the result. They give up, and then there's a decline, or the lag measures gives us a worse result. So one of the things is to also be able to know the rate of change, the consistency of these lead measures in your church. I need to wrap up now. I'm taking so much time in this broadcast, but next Monday we're going to wrap this all up for us. If you have missed go on the YouTube channel, you're going to get some of these things there. You have any church related questions for me, please reach out to us on on any of our social media handles, and I can tell you that you are going to get more than an answer from me. Make sure that you have any questions, please let us know what you have as a question, and then let us see how. If this video has been useful to you, please give us a like, give us a share us with your community, share us with your pastor, drop me a comment. I love to learn from you. I love to hear from you. I also want to do some consultations for your church. We do consultations, revitalization, training, strategic planning. Reach out to us. The number on the screen. We will be able to help your church from where it is right now to where it should be in God. Till I come your way next week Monday with the final of the 12 uneasy signs to detect in a declining church. I hope you have gotten value for the time spent with me. God bless you. I say bye-bye, and I love you. Thank you so much.